Today in Matt's class, we are going to discuss how to illustrate the transition fade. So this is the first of 3 transitions we'll be going over that you can actually illustrate on your previs boards, your storyboards, your advertising comps, what have you. And first up is fade. So by definition, fade is where you're either fading to or from a specific color. That color is usually black. So a lot of times at the beginning of your TV show, animated project, or movie, a lot of times you've got a black screen and it fades into the first shot at the beginning of your movie. And a lot of times at the end of your movie, you may have this establishing shot at the end, and then maybe it fades out, or sometimes we call it fade to black. So I'm going to show you how to illustrate that. So let's say, again, your movie, let's say it has a black screen, and let's say it's fading into the first shot. You would illustrate that doing this. First, in your previs panel, what you're doing is you are drawing a sideways V. And then you want to shade in, and these markers are not good at shading in. So I'm going to scribble really quick because these markers are just not made for shading in large areas. So you would want to make this look nice and neat. But what happens is you've got this triangle that's left over. You simply have to write the word fade. Anyone in the industry looking at this would know that this is fading in as opposed to fading out, and I'll tell you the reason why in a moment. So let's say our first shot, we have a Powerpuff Girls animated project, and let's say we are fading into a shot where Buttercup is upset about something. So let's see, I've got Buttercup here, her hair kind of colored in like so. Again, these markers, there's certain things I love about working with these markers, and then certain things that not as much. But Buttercup is always angry. Buttercup is always mad, so she's got this little horseshoe mouth. Powerpuff Girls are super cute because they don't even have thumbs or fingers. And then to really get that look that Craig McCracken designed when he kind of designed what the Powerpuff Girls look like, they have kind of this vector look. They're actually not vector, at least the original series was before we had vector technology. But if you kind of go and just make all of your outer lines just a little bit thicker, that'll kind of give the cute Powerpuff Girl look. And then let's say the city of Townsville. Okay, so we're fading into this first shot like so. Then, let's just say at the end of our episode, we've got a shot similar to this, even though I know it's always the 3 girls at the end of every episode. But let's say we want to fade out. If that's the case, so you've got a board like this. Now you have a triangle that kind of goes this way. Again, you're shading in the top triangle nicely, not scribbling like I'm doing right now. These markers just don't fill in very well. And I also don't want to put you guys to sleep. But you simply write the word fade. You don't have to write fade out. You write the word fade, and anyone looking at this would know it's fade out. How do they know this? Well, whenever you are reading in any language around the world, with the exception of 2 languages, all of our languages go from top to bottom, from left to right. James, do you know which 2 languages go from right to left?
I want to say Japanese.
Japanese is one of them.
And, was it Arabic?
Arabic, that's right. Very good. Those are the 2 languages that actually go from right to left. But most of the world is left to right. And because of that, anytime we're reading a graph or if you've got like a music monitor that has sound waves, or if you've got a heart monitor that's beeping, it's always kind of traveling from left to right, and it just makes it easier on our eyes since we're used to reading that way. So when you read something like this, imagine that this is a timeline, and imagine that this is a slice of what the image is going like this. If that's the case, how all of this is because all of it is shaded in black. That means we start with a black image, and it's almost like our lens is opening into our first shot as we move across this way. What is our first shot? This is our first shot. So if we're fading out, again, we have this whole image like so. This is a slice of that image, and as we fade to black or fade out, it's like our lens closes, and then we move into darkness this way. So that's kind of why the fade in and the fade out have the triangles moving that way. Now there is another shortcut that you can do. Let's say you draw your storyboard and you forgot to put a fade in or a fade out, and your art director or whoever your boss is, your client says, listen, we want to add a fade in the beginning of that. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to cut out all my storyboards and rearrange everything just so I can add this fade in. There actually is a shortcut. And what you can do, if you've got your panel like this, in the gutter space, either above or, in the gutter space, either above or over on the left, wherever you've got more space, you can simply put like this in the squished triangle here, or on the side, you can write the word fade. You don't have to do both. You could choose one or the other. And that would let you know, again, because we read from top to bottom, or from left to right, or both, this would let you know that you're fading into the first shot like so. If you wanted to take a shortcut for fading out, you could do the same thing. If you've got your panel here, either in your gutter space on the side or underneath, you could draw this squished triangle, you write the word fade, or in the bottom here, you write the word fade. Again, not both, you choose one or the other. This would let you know that you're fading out or you're fading out like so, because we read from top to bottom, from left to right. And that is how you illustrate a fade. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Come back for the next video where I am going to talk about how to illustrate a dissolve.